Very nice. Very nice. Let's see here what we can do here. A blue moon, you saw me standing alone, without love in your heart, without a love of my own. Oh, looking good. Oh, I love the way that looks. Oh, that's good.
Wow.
This is a joke.
Well, I agree. Jack Edwards.
Bill Singleton, you son of a gun, how are you?
I'm just fine. How are you?
Oh, fine. Great to see you. How long's it been?
Oh, well, since the 25th reunion, exactly 25 years.
Oh, well, you're looking great.
Well,
The years
thank
don't
you,
seem to
thank
phase you at all.
Well, I've lost a little of the hop off my fastball, but I compensate pretty well.
Oh, slingshot Singleton,
Yeah.
pitching hero of Hemphill High State Championship season, losing his fastball? Ha! Impossible.
Well, I'm a crafty veteran now. I get by on experience and guile.
Pitcher, not just a thrower.
Yeah, how about you? You still swinging for the fences?
Not really. I'm just trying to make contact since Nancy died.
Oh, we were all really sad to hear about that. I'm glad we got to talk together at the time, even though we were 1,500 miles apart.
Yeah, thanks again for your calls.
Oh,
they
yeah.
meant a lot.
Yeah.
How's Deborah?
Oh, Deborah's fine, but we're not together anymore.
Oh, really? I'm sorry, I didn't know that.
Well, the divorce was final 4 years ago tomorrow.
Cup of coffee, maybe?
Yeah.
Think we'll
let's
have a
see.
cup of coffee?
Yeah, let's do.
Good.
Okay, now don't forget the tie.
Oh, thanks. I almost forgot it.
I'm sure it'd be easier for you than anyone else. That is some tie.
I'll tell you about it over coffee.
Oh, good.
I'm glad you bought it. I like it.
Well, I'm not surprised. You always did have an eye for things I should not buy.
How much?
$79.95.
A little pricey, but so elegantly spicy.
Oh, but Sissy, you know how practical I am. Why should I pay that much for something no one but me will ever see?
Maybe that will change.
My being practical?
Nobody's seeing it but you.
Oh, of course. A widow on the downhill slope of life never knows when the second Mr. Right might step out from behind a potted palm and say, "May I see your slip?"
Remember our mother's warnings about the possibility of being in an accident?
Yeah, well, just last week there was a 3-car pileup out on College. But they said, fortunately, everyone's underwear was in good shape.
Well, that slip will make you feel, alluring.
Oh, Sissy, you know, I wish I could be half as outgoing and relaxed around men as you are, but that's just not me.
Oh, come on, Joan. You're too young for a shawl and a rocking chair. You've been alone now, what, almost 4 years?
5.
Well, that slip will be your secret weapon.
What do you mean?
Well, when you put it on, I want you to stand in front of the mirror and cheer.
What?
Well, you used to be a cheerleader.
Yes, 100 years ago.
Well, practice some of your old cheers.
Oh, you're crazy.
Oh, no, I'm not asking you to put on a short skirt and turn cartwheels, for goodness sake. Come on, let's go get some coffee.
Okay.
Hey, Jack, it's wonderful to have you back here for reunion week. We've missed you these last 25 years. I didn't think you came all this way just for a necktie, but tell me about that tie. You said it was a joke.
Well, more like a sight gag, actually. It's a prop for a play I'm in.
Oh, really? You're an actor now? You've retired from Edwards Electric Enterprise?
Western Supply made me an offer I just could not refuse. So I sold out lock, stock, and barrel. Now I'm a recovering entrepreneur, doing community theater whenever I need an adrenaline fix. Besides, like you, I have a theatrical background. Remember our senior play?
Oh, how could I forget? The only play in high school history that closed after the first act.
Well, you exaggerate. It was a rough beast, all right, but we slouched on through opening night and 3 additional performances.
That was the problem. Nobody thought it'd ever end. A 4-act play, and even my parents left after the act 3.
Yeah, not many people saw Act 4.
No, I had the lead, and my father claimed he had an attack of indigestion, had to lie down. My mother had a very sad look on her face and wore a wet washcloth on her forehead for 2 days.
Well, the first, and I presume last, original play ever performed at Hemphill High.
I still remember those giant posters all around school. A long night's journey into night by the Hemphill High School Faculty Playwrights Workshop. Madeline Van Pelt, chairman. Directed by Madeline Van Pelt.
Well, it was always my theory that each of the faculty wrote a 1-act play, tossed it into a barrel, then Maddie Van Pelt closed her eyes, pulled out 4 of them, and called the collection a 4-act play.
Well, I'm sure you're right, but why 4 acts?
Well, there were 7 writers, and they needed a majority to approve the play.
Oh, no.
Is that Sissy Van Pelt sitting over there?
Oh, yes, you're exactly right. She's divorced now. Doesn't she look like her mother?
Oh, she sure does. She looks just like Maddie did 25 years ago at the alumni banquet.
Yeah.
Obviously, good luck's running her family.
Oh, you didn't think so in high school. As I recall, some of your famous unguarded observations were about her lack of looks.
Well, she was a lowly sophomore with braces on her teeth and the weirdest hairdo anybody ever saw. Besides, I liked older women. I had a crush on her mother.
Oh, you did? Maddie Van Pelt, Madame Madeline, with all her theatrical airs and a phony English accent we all joked about.
The very same.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, love is blind and deaf, as you know.
Yes.
Is that Joan Atkins over there with Sissy?
Yeah, yes, it is. She moved back to Hemphill about a year ago to take care of her mother. Her husband died 4 or 5 years ago, and her maiden name is Douglas. In fact, her mother died just 2 months ago. First time I've seen her since the funeral.
Oh, she looks wonderful. Of course, she always did. She stole my heart in junior high.
She did?
Yeah. I was in the 8th grade when she started riding the same school bus I did. Every time I've seen her since that first day on the bus, something happens to my breathing.
Like now?
Even as we speak.
Oh.
Don't look now, but we are in the presence of Hemphill's finest.
Oh, the police?
No, silly. Sports legends. Heroes of the state championship baseball team.
Oh, Jack Edwards and Bill Singleton?
Oh, don't look.
Oh,
I think they know we're here. They're looking this way like they're trying not to look this way.
how do you know?
Because they're not looking right at us. They're pretending to look past us.
How do you know they're pretending?
Because that's what I'm doing with them.
Oh.
Don't look.
Sissy, Jack Edwards never didn't even know I was alive, but I'd know him anywhere. He's still handsome.
I didn't think you noticed things like that anymore.
Well, just because I'm socially dormant doesn't mean that I'm dead.
Socially dormant? What an interesting expression.
It just popped into my head.
Is that the way you feel?
Well, I'm not sure.
Ready to wake again, to grow, to bloom?
Oh, I'm afraid there's no bloom left on this rose.
Oh, Joe, don't sell yourself short. Just wait till you see yourself in that slip.
Oh, why did I pay that much money for something so frivolous? I'm going to take it back.
No. Now, let's ask Jack and Bill what they think.
Oh, you wouldn't dare. I'd die.
Instead of just sitting here talking about her, why don't you go over and say hello?
I doubt seriously that Joan Atkins would remember me. She was only a sophomore that year. And besides, she and Sissy haven't noticed us yet.
Oh, Sissy has noticed us. She keeps staring all around, pretending she's not looking at our way.
How do you know?
Because that's what I'm doing with them. What are you doing?
Trying not to stare?
Exactly. Now go over and introduce yourself before she gets away.
Why don't you introduce me?
Well, yeah, I guess I could, but you don't need an introduction. The highest batting average in the history of Hemp Hill High, and she couldn't forget that. And besides, your record still stands.
She was only a sophomore that year, and besides, women don't remember things like that.
Yeah, but you also starred in A Long Night's Journey into Night. She couldn't possibly forget that either.
Remember the senior play their class did?
Do you remember my mother directed it? She was also one of the writers. A Long Night's Journey into Night. Oh, what a bomb.
But I thought Jack Edwards is so great in that. Sir Lamont Chambers, the 9th Earl of Etherfield, and the master of Etherfield Hall.
She was so embarrassed about that turkey. 4 disastrous performances. But, like the Countess of Etherfield, she refused to bow before the gales of ill fortune, continuing her work among those less fortunate than she, until her name once more shone forth in all its former luster. Act 4, Scene 4.
I never told you, but I saw all 4 performances.
Oh, no.
My parents were convinced I needed counseling. And I dreamed that I was the Countess of Etherfield, and Jack and I, well,
Well, if you were so taken with Sir Jack, how come you never said or did anything? Oh, you didn't even tell Ma, your best friend.
but Sissy, we were sophomores, and he was a senior. He was a baseball hero with the highest hitting average in high school history. He was a star athlete, and he didn't even know I was around. Well, I would stand, oh, never mind.
Oh, come on now. Confession is good for the soul. You would stand.
I would stand right in front of his locker every day pretending to wait for you. I was convinced that it was obvious to the whole school I was throwing myself at him, but you never caught on, and neither did he. To him, I was just another faceless sophomore cluttering up the halls.
She used to stand right in front of my locker every day after 3rd period. I didn't have to go to my locker after 3rd period, but I did every day just to be close to her.
And you never talked to her?
Oh, never, no.
Not even to say, "Excuse me, but this is my locker."
No.
Oh, how come?
Well, she wasn't interested in me. She was just waiting on Sissy.
How could you tell if you never talked to her?
Body language. She didn't even really know I was there. My locker just happened to be the place where she waited for Sissy.
Well, you never had trouble breaking the ice with women when I was with you. What was the problem?
Well, I guess with her, I was afraid of being rejected. Now, with the others, it didn't matter so much.
Yeah.
And to be completely honest, I was afraid of not being rejected.
Not being rejected? That's a new one.
Well, you know how the senior girls were. They were the real Hemp Hill Hawks.
Now I get it. You were afraid they'd get on your case because Joan was a sophomore.
Yeah. Remember the number they did on Cliff Jones when he was dating that tall, red-haired sophomore? What was her name?
Angie. No, not Angie. Audrey Adams.
Yeah, Audrey. They used to call him Cliff the Cradle Robber, right to his face.
Yeah, poor old Cliff. He must have been the tallest guy in the whole county, and she was the only girl that even came close to his shoulder.
And they still wouldn't cut him any slack.
They were rough on old Cliff.
Yeah, I could feel their talons in my back every time I looked at Joan. Oh,
Yeah.
I was a big, bad senior chicken. Listen to us talking about things that happened 50 years ago. Talking like it happened last month.
Yeah, that's often the way I feel, like things that only happened a few weeks ago, clearer than things that actually happened last month.
Yeah.
You know, here we are carrying on like a couple of high school sophomores, at our age.
Oh, we're young at heart.
You're young at heart. I've aged evenly. I have wrinkles all the way through.
You just need a little excitement. Why don't you go over and flirt with Jack?
Oh, don't be ridiculous.
I'm not. You are obviously interested.
All right, I will. Right after you go flirt with Bill.
That's not a bad idea.
Would you really?
Well, are you just going to sit here all prim and proper while romance slips away?
More than likely. Yeah, more than likely.
What's Sissy doing nowadays?
Oh, Sissy's in the same boat I am. Her spouse found a younger partner. Now, she does do some freelance writing for some of the fashion magazines. Not that she needs to. Her ex-husband is a very successful lawyer, and she got a huge settlement.
Maybe I should forget about Joan and get to know Sissy.
Yeah.
Here we are talking about everybody but you. What are you doing these days?
Oh, I do a little paid consulting and a lot of volunteer work. I sold my insurance agency shortly after Deborah left. That hit me like a ton of bricks. Married for 45 years and wham, it's gone. I still can't really believe it happened.
I still can't really believe it. Married 42 years, and then your husband takes off with a woman everyone calls Tex.
Tex? What's her real name?
Dallas Devine.
You're putting me on.
I am not. Her family has cattle ranches all over Texas and 3 other states.
Well, I can see why you'd be angry, but I hope it doesn't make you bitter.
Oh, I still like men, but Cecilia Dewey is dead. Long live Sissy Van Pelt. Leaner, meaner, and so much wiser.
People are staring.
Well, if we create a scene over here, Hemphill's finest won't be able to pretend they don't know we're here.
They seem to be pretty animated about something over there.
Well, instead of sitting here straining your eyeballs, go over there and say hello.
Well, what about you?
I'm not the new kid in town. I'm not the one they'll want to talk to. I'm old stuff.
Do you talk with them often?
Well, not exactly, but sometimes.
Well, how often is sometimes?
Well, it's like depending on who you're referring to.
Well, let's refer to Sissy. How often do you talk to Sissy?
I don't see Sissy to talk to.
So you never talk to Sissy?
Well, I wouldn't say never.
Well, what would you say?
Well, I'd say I look at her when I get the chance.
But you don't want to talk to Sissy?
I wouldn't say I don't want to talk to her.
Well, shall we go over and say hello?
Is that what you want to do?
A minute ago, you tell me that's what I have to do.
Well, you go ahead then. I just realized I've got a little more shopping to do.
Aren't you being a little obvious?
We're just going to stand in front of the locker, so to speak.
We? What makes you think I'm going with you?
Well, you're not going to just hunker down there, are you, like a barnacle on an abandoned spaceship while I struggle to make contact with the aliens?
Hunker down like a barnacle on an abandoned spaceship? That sounds like something your mother would write. Is it from one of her plays?
Don't try and change the subject. Are you a modern woman or not?
I'm as modern as I'm going to get, and that's not modern enough to get picked up in a shopping mall.
Oh, for goodness sake, don't hyperventilate. It's not getting picked up when you know the man.
Sissy, I have not laid eyes on Jack Edwards in 50 years. How can you say I know him?
Well, so you haven't seen him very recently. You still know him. He's not a total stranger. This is definitely not a pickup situation.
Well, no matter what you call it, I'm not doing it.
Oh,
So you're saying we should try to pick them up?
Well, who's talking about pickups? We know these women.
Oh, you haven't seen them in 50 years until today.
Well, that's true, but you know them.
I've never talked to Sissy in my life.
Really? Well, I've never talked to Joan in my life, so I think it's time we got started.
Oh, I don't think this is the best time.
Well, can you think of a better time? The four of us are here together. Oh, maybe that's your point. You prefer to operate alone. You're a lone ranger.
No, not really. No, I'm not.
Well, I think it's time we got started, and there's no time like the present. Let's do it.
I'd just be in the way.
Oh, nonsense.
Joan would go with you, but Sissy would never go with me.
Who's talking about going anywhere with anybody? We're just start at the beginning by going over and saying hello.
Well, I can see already what happens. I strike out.
Oh, nonsense. Bill. Where's the Bill Singleton I used to know? The guy who loved to pitch behind on the count with the bases loaded, all for the thrill of having it all on the line.
Well, that was fun. I was in command. But since Deborah left, when I try to talk to women, I get all nervous. I say the wrong things, things that sound dumb. I panic.
Oh, so you've benched yourself.
Yeah, I guess I have.
I'm getting out of here before you talk us into making fools of ourselves. Oh. And I'm going to return this Go-Go Girl slip right now.
Oh, you are so inhibited. Oh.
Well, my friend, it looks like the matter is moot. The birds have flown.
I'm sorry to cramp your style. You should have just gone on over.
Just forget about it. It was a silly notion after all these years. Nostalgic nonsense.
I guess you're right.
Yeah, well, I think I'll go take another look at those neckties.
I gotta make a quick phone call and then I'll join you.
Okay, maybe I'll find a tie that I like better than the one I got.
I'm sure most people would. What's the matter?
What's the matter? Look at this!
I like it better than the tie.
This is no time for jokes. I have the wrong shopping bag.
Oh, then they have your tie. They are in for a shock.
What are we going to do?
I never had a shopping bag. I'm not involved.
Haven't you heard of guilt by association? We're both on the spot.
Oh, I didn't pick up the wrong bag, neither did you. They left first.
Well, there's sins of omission and sins of commission.
Yeah, but you're not guilty of either. They left you here holding the wrong bag. It's their fault.
Well, two wrongs don't make a right.
Oh, you're not making sense. Get a grip on yourself.
This is no time to make sense. We have, in our unauthorized possession, a highly titillating undergarment. The women will be embarrassed, and they'll blame us. Can't you see that?
Well, then there's no reason for us to stay here and get caught red slip-handed. I'm out of here.
Are we men or mice ready to run off over some trivial embarrassment?
Well, this mouse is out of here.
What am I going to do? Where am I going to put? There's the bag, no shopping bag. I'll just put it up below. I don't know what to do.
I can't believe it. Oh.
What did you do?
I didn't do anything. I was just leaving.
Well, then why is the slip hanging on the coat rack?
Because you have the shopping bag.
Is this your idea of a joke? Some kind of geriatric anti-race?
Now, wait a minute. We were just...
Don't talk to me. I don't want to talk to anyone who would buy a disgusting thing like this.
I didn't buy that disgusting thing.
Huh, I thought so. I'm going to report you for shoplifting.
Why don't you say something? Why am I taking all this heat?
Well, can't you speak up for yourself? Are you a man or a mouse? I certainly don't want to date a man who won't speak up for himself.
I am speaking up for myself. Date? What do you mean, date? You mean you want with me?
That's what I mean.
Oh, hot damn.
Don't you think you ought to apologize to that poor woman?
I certainly didn't mean to cause any kind
Not
of...
to me, to her.
Oh, Sissy, please, just stop. Let's just go.
Listen, I'm really sorry. I had this thing, and Bill had the shopping bag. I didn't know what to do with it, and I didn't know where to put it because Bill had the shopping bag, and I looked around, and I finally put it up there where you'd see it, and I'm really sorry.
Oh, no, I'm the one who should apologize for my awful outburst. I was just startled, and I suddenly felt a little faint. You know? I didn't eat any lunch. Probably I should eat something.
Well, I'm Jack Edwards. You probably don't remember me. I was a couple of years ahead of you in high school. I'm here for reunion week.
Oh, yes, I remember you. I certainly do. You're looking, extremely well.
Oh, you look wonderful. If you're faint with hunger, you must be hungry. Obviously, let me get you something.
Oh, no, it's all right. I feel better now, but thank you.
Joan, I'd very much like to take you to dinner tonight if possible. I'd very much like to talk with you and get to know you better, if not tonight, as soon as possible. I think that's a very good idea.
Oh, so do I. And tonight is fine. But what about Sissy and Bill?
Well, why don't we invite them to go with us?
Okay.
Bill? Sissy? Would you care to join Joan and me for dinner tonight?
Oh, yeah, we sure would. Where are we going?
Oh, I don't know. Let's decide on the way.
On the way where?
Joan and I were talking about Chinese food earlier.
Oh, that sounds really good. How about the bamboo garden?
Sounds good to me.
Oh, damn. I'll drive. We'll come back here for the other cars later.
Okay.
Good.
Oh, wait a minute. Don't forget your clothes.